heavy,
bored.
I'm glad you brought up Plath because I think we need to talk about the confessional mode. And I have a lot of thoughts on the confessional mode and like what it's done to literature over the last 60 years, 70 years. But like it's definitely within this framework. My problem with confessional is that it tends to be overemphasized on the confession. And really my big theory on it is all literature is now confessional. Like confessional movement never ended. This is what the basis, I think, for autofiction. This is the basis for most fiction in the second half of the 20th century, where it's look at my life, look at my unique perspective, look at these bad things I did, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a caring person. Something that like the Gen X generation of writers, I think, really captured. And then, of course, I think millennials are mostly just stuck on repeat right now in terms of the confessional movement being the driving factor. I'm confessing my sins to some extent, like the bad things I did, the things I feel bad about or whatever.
Yeah, or it was like about breaking down like the I of the poem, right?
Yeah.
The speaker. Who is the speaker? Pulling in personal events. A situation where we feel, the speaker of the poem is really close to the poet, if not the poet. Right? And I do find myself, and I was texting you about this too, I do find myself like having to stop and sort of check myself and be like, am I just inserting her into this? Like, because there was a moment where I was just reading every poem is just like, this is Olena. And I had to sort of place that veil back down and just be like, you are the mysterious like poet speaker, and
Right.
try to separate a little bit of what I know about her from how I'm reading.
Yeah, and I mean, that's part of the confessional. I think it is implied that it's the I is the poet in most of these, in most of her work. And I think this is what is, was good for literature when it happened, and then is also kind of detrimental to like the whole, as we constantly go back and repeat what has already been done, basically, like this kind of like, I don't know. I'm just really, again, I've completely rejected at this point in my life. It may change at some point in the future, but I've just like really rejected the generation before me these last few years, where I've just been like disgusted by Gen X writers. But that's not true either, because there's a lot that I like, but it's like, yeah, I'm just like, oh God, you guys are still doing what they were doing in the 60s. Like, you're still doing what everybody was doing in the 60s. Like,
there's still stuff that's really good, but it's hard to sift through, because that's a lot of what there is right now.
Oh, it's all there.
Inner.
Resources, American resources.
Being bored?
Some activities are intentional, right?
It shows such a lack of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I should say.
Bored. Heavy.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.